Hi, and welcome to Chapter 22, the Digestive System. So you need to be able to label all parts of the digestive system as well as the accessory organs. The digestive system will break down and all the foods you eat to provide nutrients for the cells, and it works with other systems to support tissues that do not connect with the outside environment. So here are your major organs. You have to know them in order. The accessory organs you have to know as well. The digestive tract is also called the GI tract or gastrointestinal tract, as well as the alimentary canal. The digestive tract is a long muscular tube lined with ridges and folds, and these will increase the surface area of the digestive tract. Here is an overview of all of the layers of the tract. You need to know your 4 layers from inside to outside, as well as understand the mesentery. So the mesentery here is a double-layered system, in between which is areolar tissue where the blood vessels lie. The innermost layer of the digestive tract is the mucosa, and you can see these tiny little folds here in the mucosa. The blue layer here is the submucosa, and you can see blood vessels in that layer. The next layer is the muscular layer, which consists of 2 layers of muscle, and the outermost layer is the serosa, also with blood vessels within that layer. The mucosa is the innermost lining. It's mucous membrane, moistened by glandular secretions. The submucosa contains the blood vessels and lymphatic vessels. It also contains exocrine glands in some areas. Buffers are secreted. Buffers will maintain a regular pH, a steady pH, and enzymes are secreted into the digestive tract. The muscularis extremis is 2 layers of muscle. The innermost layer is circular, the outermost layer is longitudinal, and the final outer external layer is the serosa, and this is a layer of visceral peritoneum. Again, you can see the blood vessels traveling through that outer serosa membrane. Mesentery is a double sheet of peritoneal membrane, and sandwiched in between the 2 layers is areolar tissue, and it is the route for blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, nerves to travel. This mesentery binds the organs together somewhat for stabilization and prevent entanglement of the intestines as substances move throughout them. Details of the mucosa include the epithelium. It is mucosal epithelium. The opening and exits of our digestive tract consist of stratified squamous epithelium, while the stomach, small and large intestines are simple columnar. The mucosa has small projections called villi, and these increase surface area. The lamina propria is the areolar tissue that contains blood vessels, nerves, lymphatic vessels, and so on. The muscle layer is muscularis mucosae, and it's 2 layers of muscle tissue, the innermost circular layer and the outermost longitudinal layer. And these will change the shape of the lumen and move the circular folds and the villi, allowing foods to move throughout the small intestine. The muscularis mucosae also has circular folds called plicae circularis, permanent folds. In the digestive tract, we're going to see 2 nerve plexuses. A nerve plexus is this network. See that yellow branching network of nerves? So let's talk about what the nerves are doing in the digestive tract. Well, if you remember parasympathetic and sympathetic stimulation, sympathetic is fight or flight. So parasympathetic is called rest and relax or rest and digest. Do you think the parasympathetic stimulation will increase or decrease the digestive muscle tone and activity. It will increase. That is, once everything has shut down to run away from the woolly mammoth, it will return to normal. Sympathetic stimulation will increase or decrease muscle tone and activity. It will decrease. So back to the plexus, there's a submucosal plexus in the submucosal layer, and that will innervate or send nerves supply to the mucosa and submucosa, and it contains sensory neurons and automatic neurons. The myenteric plexus here is between the two between the two muscle layers, between the circular and longitudinal layer. And that helps coordinate local activity of digestive activity. And here's an overall view, your innermost villi. They themselves have tiny little extensions on them. With these circular folds and the villi, the small intestine surface area is about the size of a tennis court. Inside the mucosa is the submucosa, and then your two muscular layers. So here's your mucosa, here is your submucosa, your muscular layer, your inner circular, outer longitudinal, and your serosa. What is the function of the villi? Increase in surface area. Which of these is not lined with stratified squamous epithelium? Stomach. What type of membrane lines the inside of the digestive tract? Mucus. And which of these does not increase the surface area of the intestinal epithelium? The lamina propria. What term is used to describe the layer of connective tissue that attaches the pharynx, esophagus, and rectum securely to adjacent structures? Adventitia. So the muscles in the digestive tract are smooth muscle. We see smooth muscle throughout the body in organs, and smooth muscle is often found in sheets. Smooth muscle is around blood vessels, and smooth muscle forms ring-shaped sphincters. We see many sphincters in the digestive tract. In the digestive tract, the smooth muscle is organized into an inner circular layer and an outer longitudinal layer. The purpose of this muscle is to allow food to pass through the digestive tract. And this process of movement of food or waste through the tract is called peristalsis, and it is a wave of muscle contraction. So once you chew the food and mix it with saliva, it forms a round, kind of slimy mass called a bolus. The bolus travels to the back of your throat by your tongue, and once it reaches a point back there, you swallow, and it's then going to be propelled the rest of the way through the digestive tract by peristalsis. So we'll see a picture of how this happens, but the circular muscles contract behind the bolus, and the longitudinal muscles contract ahead of the bolus. So here's our bolus. It's arrived in the esophagus, and it's moving to the right toward the anus. And you can see an inner circular muscle and an outer longitudinal muscle. The circular muscle contracts behind the bolus. The longitudinal muscles contract ahead of the bolus, and contraction in the circular muscles layer forces the bolus to move forward. And that is peristalsis. There's also a process called segmentation, and it's cycles of contraction that allow a mixing of the intestinal secretions, and the mixing occurs this way. This is called segmentation. So there are local factors that regulate digestion. There are some primary factors, the primary stimuli, such as changes in the pH of the lumen, physical distortion of the digestive tract wall, so stretching, and the presence of chemicals. Neural control mechanisms include short reflexes, myenteric reflexes, and these are triggered by chemoreceptors or stretch receptors, and long reflexes. And this involves interneurons and motor neurons of the central nervous system. There are at least 18 hormones that affect digestive function. Some affect other systems as well. Hormones are peptides produced by enteroendocrine cells in the epithelium of the digestive tract. So here you can see a cross-section through the digestive tract, and you see the inner mucosa, submucosa, muscular layers, and then the serosa. And local factors include stretch receptors, chemoreceptors. There is a long reflex and a short reflex, and there are hormonal controls.